Hello my lovelies, welcome to you all to my channel Lifeforce Unlimited. Wishing you all a very happy new year. Well, I don't know about you lot, but I'm glad to have crossed the threshold into this new beginning. Still feeling a bit wiped out after all of the events of 2019. But I feel a sense now of enthusiasm, of anticipation, and looking forward to things, which doesn't normally occur in a January. And so I thought I'd just put some words together for you. I've sat and meditated, and I've asked for the most appropriate energies to come through to give you some Ascension Oracle messages for January. So there's some wonderful things afoot, as they say, and it's looking at how we traverse these new pathways, and it's a bit like we haven't had the map, we haven't had the GPS hasn't worked prior to this point. You might have put the information in, but the actual pathway hasn't shown up, or it's sent you off on a wild goose chase or down a wrong path, or turn around, turn around, turn around. When it's safe to do so, make a U-turn. And I've had some interesting things happen to me in the last week or so. First of which was I brought the dog back from a little walk, and as I entered my back gate, two crows dive bombed me. They were in a right old banter and flurry of activity. They were yelling and screaming at each other, and one of them, the wings literally touched my hair, and off they went. And I thought, whoa, I had really had to duck because it was that close. So I got indoors and I sat down, and then they appeared in the front garden on the gate post, still yelling and screaming at each other and making a right old racket. And I thought, okay, so I know Crow is a messenger, so why have you shown it to me twice? Why have they shown up twice? Once at the back of the house and once at the front of the house. And so I looked it up in my animal medicine book, and yes, Crow is the messenger. Sometimes they bring news of death or somebody departing this life, but also it's to do with mastery, with miracles, with manifestation. And because it landed straight on top of my head, I thought, okay, this is the crown, this is something, information coming to me, news. It can be sudden, it can be unexpected. So that was the first thing. And then last Sunday I'd gone to bed all snuggled up, and suddenly the smoke alarm goes off and it wouldn't stop. So I did what I thought was necessary, and pressing buttons and switching things off, but it wouldn't stop, carried on and on and on. And it was in the kitchen, and again it was above my head, it was the ceiling. So I couldn't get hold of my landlord because they were not available until the 2nd of January. So I called the fire brigade, and a whole fire engine turned up. And I said, well, I haven't got any fire, I haven't got any smoke, but the smoke alarm won't stop, it's just screaming at me. So these lovely firemen came in and looked at the smoke alarm, and it had blown, and said it was full of water. So I thought, well, I have a clue where that has come from. So they searched around upstairs to see where there might be a leak and such like, and couldn't find anything. So they dismantled it and said, don't switch anything on until you see an electrician. I thought, fine, okay. And so the next day I phoned to get the right sort of help, and a plumber came, then an electrician came to sort me out. And two aspects of that were, the first person that I spoke to about it was very rude, very condescending, very bullying. And then the plumber who turned up was the most gorgeous energy, young man, with the bluest of blue eyes. And he said, "Oh, you do psychic stuff, do you?" I said, "Yes, that's right." He rolled up his sleeve. He had the most fabulous tattoo of a Native American Indian with a full headdress, absolutely full headdress. And I thought, "Ooh, okay, you've sent him to me, thank you very much." And it was a much softer, gentler energy, polite, conscientious, very thorough, did his job. And this chap was half Canadian. I thought, okay. So later on in the afternoon, the electrician showed up to fix the smoke alarm, and I had the TV on, and it's a program about Australia. And he said, "That's where I'm from." I said, "Okay, all right." So he did his job, fitted the new smoke alarm, and off he went. And so trying to put all of these things together and what the message is for me, which possibly some of you viewers might resonate with, as the phrase goes, that something was coming at me. The birds were bickering, they were loud, they were delivering a message from the past, because my back garden that's the past. But it was a download into my crown chakra, because he swooped over my hair. And then seeing them again in the front garden on the gatepost. So the gatepost is where the gate is, and people usually come in that way. So again, something's arriving, Amanda, something's coming at you. Be prepared. And then with the smoke alarm, well, as I say, there was no fire, there was no smoke, but it was an alarm. It woke me up, thank God. And it alerted me to, again, it was on the ceiling of the kitchen, and it, again, to do with my crown energy, information coming in, pay attention, listen to what is being sent your way. And so the two professionals who came to sort out my issue, one was half Canadian and the other one was Australian. So I'm thinking, okay, is there something here for me about, as we move into the new year's energies, about travelling, about going to these places? Because the boy came from, or his family came from Vancouver Island, which is the west coast of Canada, and the other one from, I think it was Brisbane in Australia. And I haven't been to either of those places. I've touched around there, but not actually landed in those places. So usually Spirit will bring us a sign or a signal or an omen 3 times for you really to pay attention and get notice it. So I've had the crows twice, I've had the smoke alarm twice, and so since the new one's been installed, every time I open the oven door it goes off again. And I thought, oh Lord, does it need to be tweaked or such like? Maybe that's all that needs to be done with that. But it's still making a noise in my life. It's still alerting me to something. It's still this piercing noise. And until I get it fixed again, or someone else comes and sorts it out again, I still have to pay attention to something showing up. I've absolutely no idea what it could be. But I do get a sense more of letting myself be led in the right direction, whether it's I literally travel to Vancouver Island and or Australia, or people from such places come to me, and or people watching this are from those areas, and or there is something to do with the indigenous peoples, some ancient wisdom, some knowledge, some something that's deep within me which needs to come up to the surface. Because as I was meditating prior to doing this video, I was deep into remembering in vivid detail a past existence, a past life, where I was a medicine woman in North America, before horses, before the horse arrived there, before the white man arrived there, and was shown this incredible life that I had with this amazing person here. And this is a drawing I did in 2014. And I just love him. He's absolutely got the most beautiful, beautiful energies. And it was only very recently, within the last 3 months, that I realised that he was my husband in this previous existence. So he was a medicine man, I was a medicine woman. And we lived in the most exquisite valley in North America, with mountains surrounding us, beautiful wide river, woodland, forests, caves. And so this information was just flooding back into my mind, into my memory of how I lived during that lifetime, during that existence. And I've been told, and I have a knowing, that this person, who was my husband then, is actually around in this lifetime. I know who it is, but the other person has no inkling that they were this person then. So that we'll wait and see how that works out and unfolds and such like. So one of the reasons I'm showing you this drawing is when you pay attention to the signs and the signals and the synchronicities of things that come into your life, because you could say, oh well, a couple of birds dive bombed me, and later that day a smoke alarm went off, and you wouldn't tie it all together. But my mind works in a slightly different way, and I'm thinking, well, okay, I actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it was 7 or 8 men come into my house in one day, and all different ages, all different backgrounds. The fire service showed up. So there's also this, in a way, being rescued, although I didn't need to be rescued. But the service was there should I need it. And this male energy, these 7 men, all came to sort something out for me, all came to fix something for me, all came to, in their own field, working with electrical objects. The plumber, it was to do with water. So electricity is ruled by the planet Uranus. And so when we have lightning bolts and that sort of thing, Uranus rules that. And also Uranus rules surprises, things coming to us out of the blue. So I'm still waiting. I'm sure there's something else that's going to show up for me. And it may be to do with this past life partner. And as and when he shows up. So the electricity side of things it feels to me, because also it's to do with my crown energy, that I'm being rewired. That something is being, I had a short, I had a blowout, water got into my circuits, and that says to me, water's to do with emotion, but also your intuition. And it blew this electrical object, this smoke alarm, and then I've had a new one fitted. So I've been rewired, I've been recoded in a way, I've been upgraded because the new one's gone in, and it's very, 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 very sensitive now, because I say every time I open the oven door it goes off again. So that says to me that I need some fine-tuning. I need to be tweaked a little bit with these energies, and how I'm going to use them in the year to come. So I know I say many times in my videos, notice what you notice, and I feel that's vital. It's absolutely vital to our awakening, to our use of the change of energies that are affecting us all. Don't dismiss anything. You might think, oh, that was odd, but don't let it go, because you can, in hindsight, link it with something else, but you learn you don't have to wait for hindsight. You can do it there and then, just putting these things together and say, oh, well, that makes sense. Oh, and then this came in. Oh, well, do you know, and that links with that. And you may find that certain things come to you from the past. So like with the medicine man, he's come from a past life. And it might not be just one person, it can be members of the tribe that show up, because they do say in every lifetime that we have, we come in as a group of souls who've been together in many other lifetimes, some of whom we are loved and doted upon by, and others who we have a right old battle with, ding dong with. So I feel that for some of us there's as I say, tribe members coming back, not necessarily Native American ones. They can be our soul tribe, they can be our spirit tribe, they can be our space tribe, from wherever they are coming and coming back to us, we're coming back to them. And I feel that a lot of the clearing that we've done in 2019, a lot of the purging, the letting go of, the sadness, the grieving, the sometimes feeling very alone, bereft. Where do I go from here? What do I do now? All of those thoughts of coming from the ego, coming from that wounded part of ourselves, coming from that victim part of ourselves, they're being burned away. We're all being rewired and recalibrated. And Maggie just happened to have it in a smoke alarm going off. So I've got a few cards I've chosen for you, and hopefully they all string together as well. So we have a teeny tiny angel card to start off with, and that's purpose. So life purpose, soul purpose. Now this is very Capricornian. So if any of you follow the stars and the cosmology and the astrology and such like, there's a huge shift and change with regard to what the planets are doing. On Boxing Day we had an eclipse, and we got another one on the 10th of January. Full moon solar eclipse in Cancer. So it's a Cancer Capricorn axis. So Capricorn is mountains, it's effort, it's striving, it's finding that purpose within you, deliberating, getting all the equipment together, all of the tools that you will need to head where it is you are meant to be heading. And for an awful lot of you, it's in a completely different direction to where you thought you were headed. And for an awful lot of you, you might have fallen down the mountain, you might have had a bit of a tumble and I will not say the rude, the rude version of it, head over heels, we call it that, and a falling down sensation with your work or your career, or where you thought you were headed. And an awful lot of you may have spent years studying, getting qualifications, certified, certifications, not being certified, and that's what you thought you should do at the time, and it was fine, what you thought you should do at the time. So it's put some experience under your belt and some knowledge under your belt. But a lot of you might be saying, well, I don't want to do that anymore. I've lost the passion for it. It's gone. After all those years of study, after all that money I spent on the books and the burning the midnight oil learning, it doesn't appeal to me anymore. And so this is for you to be able to say, that's fine, let it go. No regrets, no guilt, no looking back in anger, but just saying, well, okay, that served me then. It doesn't serve me now. There's no joy in it. There's no passion in it. There's no feeling of, oh, I really want to go up the next level of that. And then something else comes in, and this is your angel of purpose guiding you up the next next part of the journey, the next challenge, the next part of your soul's journey. And if you don't know quite what that is yet, this year is really going to help you to realise, because as things fall away, and that can be people, that can be jobs, that can be situations, where you live, how you live, what you drive. For a lot of people it can be downsizing. And that isn't just in your home, it's sort of downsizing your lives. Realising that you don't need all of the things that you thought you needed. Seeing that you can live quite happily without an awful lot of the things that everybody else tells you that you should have. There's a new sense of love coming in as well. So with the opposite end of Capricorn, which is Cancer, the Cancer energy is to do with self-love. It's the home, it's the family, but it's also home here in your heart. What was that song? Wherever I take my hat, place my hat, that's my home. And we need to start with ourselves. So self-love, self-mastery, this ability to look at ourselves in a very different light, and to say, well, how can I love anybody else or love what I do if I don't love myself? And for some people it's very, very difficult to find that spark of love within yourself. And I heard something really lovely recently. It was a podcast by, I think it was Molly McCord, wonderful astrologer, and she was talking about romancing yourself. So treating yourself like you are the love of your life, that you are the best thing that ever happened to you, and treat yourself and spoil yourself and pamper yourself, and be happy to say no to others. It's intense self-care, extreme self-care, and it might rattle a few people's cages, and they might feel that you're neglecting them, and you jolly well should neglect them, because you may be being self. And as we find that love for self, and start to treat ourselves as the love of our lives, then you will find that those around you will start to treat you the same way. So if you have issues with self-worth, or feeling unworthy of love and affection, then you will draw that same sort of person to you, who won't respect you, who won't love you, who won't care for you. So when we start with ourselves, and we get used to it, and we find that self-mastery and that ability to say, no, I'm not available. No, I'm not going to settle for less than what I've asked for. No, I won't be a doormat anymore. I did that. I walked away from my family because I was fed up with being a doormat. It took me a while to realise I was one. And I thought I could fix everybody. I thought it was my job to fix everybody and make sure everybody else was fine before me. But it brought me to my knees. And I really didn't like myself one little bit. So nobody liked me either. So, yeah, I've been doing this, finding this life purpose. And I've never been on my own. It took me a while to realise that too. I thought I was on my own, but I've never been on my own. I've always had dudes like this, Angel, pushing me up, pushing me up, helping me up that mountain. And I feel for me that exploration, that adventure, is going to take me to some amazing places this year, which might include Vancouver Island and somewhere in Australia. Or another part of this sort of wake-up call with the crows and such like, is the realisation that I have abilities, I have gifts, I love to teach, I love to share these messages with you, and to be open to invitations, to be open to be invited to share this with others, wherever that might be, whether it's like this online or whether it's travelling to various different places on the planet and teaching workshops and such like. Rather than chasing it, rather than chasing success or chasing results, or it's the wrong sort of effort, it's the wrong sort of energy to put out there. It's just to say, I've had over 60 years experience of life, of training, of learning, of studying, of practicing, of falling down, picking myself up again. And if there are others out there who are just waking up or just coming to their senses, I'm happy to have done the spade work on behalf of a lot of you, and I'm happy to share. They're not shortcuts, because we all have to do the work, but to share my experiences, to share what I've learned, the knowledge I've gleaned, how to tap into past life energies, and to be discerning as to what part of that past life you integrate into this one. Because we haven't all been saints, we haven't all been sinners, but of course there's certain things you don't want to repeat in this lifetime. You don't want things to show up again like they did in the past. And I feel for a lot of us in this last 10 years or so, that's what we've been clearing. Past karma, past negativities, past patterns, past programming that's been running and running and running, and that's why we feel we haven't got anywhere or achieved anything or succeeded in what it is we wanted to succeed in. So there's this new, what did they show me earlier on? It'll come back to me. Anyway, it says love. Where there is love, there is no fear. Where there is fear, there's no love. As a master, I realize love is the power that heals me and everyone around me. Love is my life and my sustenance. if you don't know how to love yourself, if it's never really been shown to you in your family dynamic, and or in any relationship that you've had, that programming, that patterning can be deleted, and then you just ask your higher self, your angels, whatever dudes you pray to, say, show me how to love myself, show me how I work with this energy, which is what I'm made of. We come from love. So then there's a wisdom of Avalon, and this is fascinating because there's all sorts of different energies here floating around, and this seems to be of a significance that is usually discarded or dismissed. This is the Earth Fairy, and there she is. She's beautiful, beautiful moth wings and a fabulous staff with a huge crystal on it. And it says physical health, grounding and foundations. So part of the self-love thing is your physical health. It's looking at, do you have aches and pains? Do you have something that needs attention? What's your diet like? What's your exercise like? That's another thing that I'm dealing with at the moment. And one or two little medical issues, I'll put it that way. And some doors have opened for me to be assisted in ways that I would never have dreamed of. And it's mixing Western medicine with Eastern medicine and with energy medicine, quantum physics. And just seeing that they can actually work together. You don't have to tell all the individuals quite what you're up to, but not handing your power away to a health professional and say, well, you fix me. That's not what it's about. It's saying, well, I will listen to what it is you have to say. I will listen to any diagnosis that you might come up with. And thank you very much for that. And then I'm going to empower myself by researching what it is you're saying, and is there another way of looking at it and dealing with it. So that's the way I'm looking at things. Also, this Earth Fairy energy, it's about the Earth, it's about Gaia, it's about our mother planet who's raging and trying to heal herself. So with the fires in Australia and various other things going on, and how Earth energy is also us. It's our health, our physical being. So with all of this energy in Capricorn, and this huge alignment conjunction of 5 planets in Capricorn, around about the 12th of January, it's about a shake-up, a big shake-up, not just for our physical bodies, how we're holding up to that, but also for Mother Earth's physical body and the structures upon her. So it's not just about buildings and homes and bricks and mortar, it's the structures that have been built up over the years, like governments, corporations, people who are in charge, and seeing all that being rattled a little bit. So holding on to our foundations, making sure they're strong and solid, feeling grounded, not letting anything shake us or wobble us that's been projected to us. So anything that comes from the media, which is scaremongering, which is designed to frighten us and put us into fear mode and drop us down into our fear-based egos. So yes, we might feel a little bit rattled and wobbly about things occurring around us in our lives, but also to know that we have that energy. We have the energy of the elementals, which is what the Earth Fairy is. So Mother Earth gifts us the crystals. They are her body, but also the energy of the fairies, the elemental kingdoms, which again we should never dismiss, because there is a deep respect needed, and those that are connected on that vibration to be able to ask with reverence and respect, maybe work with you, show us how to work with you, show us what we can do. So whether it's in your dream time or your soul time or your meditation time, when you hold ceremonies. So we've got these huge astrological things going on in the heavens with a full moon eclipse, and on the same day Uranus stations direct, and they say Uranus is about surprise and change, and then the Capricorn stellium allowing yourself to feel this energy, feel the changes. And for a lot of people it can be upheaval, it can be overwhelm, it can be if you buy into the media, oh my god, you know, that shock of I never saw that coming. But a lot of things need to come to the surface for us to heal them, to cleanse them, and to let them go, so we can move into this new paradigm, this new way of doing things. You know, some of it's got very old and stale and stagnant. You think, oh, we're not doing it that way still, are we? So a little animal card has popped in as well, and this is lovely because we need to find that balance. So a lot of things that are being broadcast to us can look like doom and gloom, as I say, scaremongering, fearmongering. And we have the dolphin. Whoa. So dolphin energy is playfulness, it's fun, it's that ability to tap into living in the moment, living in the now, just being spontaneous with the fun of things. It says, breathe, take in life force, accept the gift of usable energy, touch the invisible. Now this, hang on, that one, is it there? That one. This is a dolphin stone, and it's called Larimar. And if you look, it looks like an eye, a dolphin's eye. And I was wearing this and I went swimming with dolphins off the in the lovely warm waters off the coast of Hawaii. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them beneath me, and we were all snorkeling. And there were spinner dolphins, and they'd come up and they'd just spin and they'd splash back down again. And we sang to them and we played with them, and it was the most exquisite experience. And there was an awful lot more to it than just swimming with them, because when we were back on dry land, we had meditations and we were channeling through messages from the dolphins, which I will share with you at some point because I wrote it all down. And the dolphins and the whales are also associated with the Akashic records. And if you don't know what they are, Akasha is a Sanskrit word, and it is to do with recording every event that has ever happened, that is happening, and will ever happen. And it's like it's held within a sort of a sacred space, a sacred energy, and you can learn how to tap into the Akashic records because they hold the information associated with all of life on planet Earth and the universe. And there are exercises and ways and means of bringing yourself into alignment and tapping into that certain record about this, that and the other, because we're all connected. There's no such thing as time. Everything's happening now. Oh, going back to the dolphin stone, yeah. As I climbed back onto the boat, after I've been swimming with these amazing creatures, this stone, not this one, but which is a Lemurian crystal, this one fell, dropped off the chain onto the deck of the boat. And I thought, oh my goodness, seconds before it would have just dropped into the ocean. And I was very glad to have recovered it. And it just made me realise the synchronicity of things, that I had deliberately worn it when I was out swimming with them, and it felt like it had downloaded loads of information from the dolphins into this stone. And so every time I wear it, when I tune in, I can tap into wisdom of the dolphins, and more than that, the Akashic records. So if you ever come across Larimar, grab a bit. It's quite rare. I think it comes from can't remember now, some islands. It was named after a chap's daughter who was called Laura, and Mar, M-A-R, which means the sea. So Larimar. And there are various different shades of the blue, but it just looks like yeah, under the sea. And so then I've chosen a card from the Wicker pack, and this is very interesting. This is the spider. And some of you might go, oh no, can't look at that, hate spiders. I overcame any fear I might have had of spiders when I shared a flat in London, over 40 years ago, with a girl who was literally terrified of them. And I came out of my bedroom one Sunday morning, and she'd been sitting there for hours on the steps of the stairs, and there was a teeny tiny weeny spider, and it had terrified her. She couldn't go downstairs, so I picked it up and put it outside. And since then, absolutely no fear of spiders whatsoever. And I learned something wonderful recently, that spiders' webs, cobwebs, have a magical quality to them. So in ancient times, before we had any medicine for cuts and things like that, if you gathered a cobweb and rolled it up and then attached it to a cut or a wound, it would help to heal it. Now, spider energy is about creation. Create, 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 create. So with this energy coming up for January, and if you look, it's a winter scene, and if you've ever seen a frost on a cobweb, it's wonderful. It's really magnificent. Whatever it is has been knocking at your door, the back of your mind, this is the energy of creation. And it's also about writing. Write, create, create, create. And the spider's energy is also about patterns. And you see the spider will always start from the outside, work its way in. That's very Mercury retrograde. That's the way I was born. I work backwards with a lot of things. And I'm glad to say I've just discovered certain things, and getting to a certain advanced age. I'm very glad that I was born with Mercury retrograde, because good things are coming in at the tail end of my life, rather than just at the beginning. So look at the patterns in your lives and what you can let go of, what no longer serves you. And I'm also being shown sometimes when a spider's web is torn or broken, or say you've got one on the window outside and you open the window and it's torn, it's broken, and most of the time you just probably wouldn't notice, but the spider can repair it, can put it back together again, and it'll probably be stronger, a stronger bond. And the web comes from its body, it comes from its abdomen. So your solar plexus. And our solar plexus is our battery, it's our drive, it's our ambition. It's that part of us which, when we're excited, we get butterflies in, and when we're fearful, we get butterflies in. So if you see any winter cobwebs around, honour the spider. Always, always, always honour the spider, and know that they are, they have a wonderful purpose, life purpose. They're also associated with longevity and the symbol of infinity, because there's 8 legs, and its abdomen and its head look like an 8. And even if they lose a little leg, they can still continue on, they carry on with things. So this says to me, something you start now can come to fruition in August, because August is the 8th month. And also, even though it might be winter and there's frost and snow around, things are already starting to poke up through the soil, through the earth. So you can see daffodil stalks poking up, hyacinths, snowdrops, that sort of thing. So things are already starting to emerge when you think, oh no, well, Mother Earth is sleeping, she's not producing anything. Well, she jolly well is. Oh, yes. So look at what you can resurrect now, what you can refashion, reform. Have a look at using cobwebs in various different ways as well. That might, because I add all sorts of things to my paintings, to my artwork, like Sacred Ash, Vibhuti, and Sacred Water from Glastonbury Well. And when I paint animals, if they have departed, I ask the owners if I can use some of their fur or feathers. So if I was doing a fairy painting, I might now ask the spider, can I use a bit of your cobweb? Add to the paint. That'd be interesting. Yeah. So overall, the energy that I get for January is don't go backwards, don't look over your shoulder, stop living in the past. Lots of downloads coming in. If you hear an alarm, if you are alerted to anything, like with the birds and with the smoke alarm for me, pay attention to it, because there's much more there. There's an underlying deep unfolding message coming to you. It doesn't just stop with that. It doesn't just say, oh, that was just an incident, you know. Something else is coming along. As I say, if you see something or experience something 3 times, then you really do pay attention to it. There's a the universe will show you one thing and you think, oh, okay, but you don't really see it, and they show you again. Oh, that's interesting. And then the 3rd time you go, oh my goodness, now I've got it. And there's a story I've probably told many times before. A lovely lad came to me for a reading, and he'd learned to teach English as a foreign language, and he got a job in Brazil. So he went off there for a year, and he managed to save lots of money. And when he came back, he said, I'm wondering whether I should go and do the same in New Zealand. I'm really not sure. So anyway, I did a session with him, and I said, on the way home, I said, you know, notice what you notice. Look out for, the universe will show you. So whether it's you stood in the line at the supermarket, or you're watching a TV program and a song comes on the radio, or an actor says a certain line, just pay attention. So anyway, when he got home, he phoned me and he said, "You're never going to believe this." He said, "I went down a different road I normally do to get home, and there was a huge billboard, like, 12-foot high, 15-foot long billboard, and it said, 'New Zealand, only 12 hours away.'" And he said, "Well, couldn't get any bigger than that, could it?" And that was a really, really big sign. And he accepted it, and he said, "Right, okay," I asked for a sign. I got the biggest one I could possibly imagine. And off he went to New Zealand. So sometimes they can be small little messages, and sometimes they can be enormous ones. So whatever messages you've got from this, my lovelies, I hope something resonates with you. Always pay attention, notice what you notice, and if you'd like to leave me a comment, that would be lovely. So for the time being, thank you for watching, thank you for liking and sharing. That really helps the channel to grow and my messages to get out to those who really benefit from it. And until next time, lots of love. Bye for now.